Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Sean back at the game with another deck profile. And today we're gonna go over one of my most favorite deck of all time that it got hit in the September ban list. And I believe that this deck doesn't die, even though it received probably the biggest hit this deck has ever gotten. So with Brand Fusion to 1. So let's hop right onto it and show you guys how this deck has changed since then. And I believe that this deck is still one of the best decks to play in this upcoming format. Monsters, triple Luber. With the disappearance of Branded Fusion from 3 to 1, I think you have to find more ways to get into Branded Fusion, and I think 3 Luber is completely fine. You can play 2 if you're scared of running too many normal summons, but I think 3 Luber is completely fine. I think from that 4 to 5 normal summon range is completely okay in this deck. 3 Albaz, mandatory, 2 Quem, and 2 Cartesia. Standard ratio so far for the girls. Cartesia, now that with Brand Fusion to 1, there are arguments that you can bump this card up to 3, but I think 2 is completely fine. There should be, at most, you could play 2 off of this card, and it won't break as much. 3 Shrouded Dragon. I want to max out the amount of dragons in this deck, and this card is a great consistency pieces. In this deck, generates a lot of advantage, so play 3 is completely fine. Double Mercuria, I do play Allure in this build. That's along with the 3 Shrouded Dragon, which also helps with the ratios on Allure. The 1 Kit, Kit now being reintroduced in this deck because of the hit to Branded Fusion, and this card can get back the Branded Fusion from the banish, especially if you banish it off of duplication to continue to be able to play. 1 Tragedy, 1 Sharon, 1 Puppet for the last of the 1-up monsters. Sharon is really good in this build because now more ways to fuse means you're able to get rid of your excess monsters and be able to go into fusion monsters very efficiently. More ways to fuse means more ways to you can be able to chain block your opponent, especially with these with the fusion off of Sharon. It's also help with the discard of Tragedy and discard the dragons in hand, like Saranir and Shrouded Dragon, to be able to mill cards, which generates more advantage for this deck. And then last but not least for the monsters, we have the Bestial package, the 1 Lobelion, and 3 Saranir. The reason why I like playing multiple Saranir is because we're in a Bestial format, where light and dark decks are dominating the format in the graveyard, and Bestials are one of the best ways to deal with them. Now, why 3 Saranir and not having a Magnum Hut here? Well, Magnum Hut is good in a vacuum, but in this deck specifically, Saranir generates too much value from the Branded Spell and Trap that this card sends. And this card, you want to see this card in tandem with a Cartesia or a Sharon to be able to combo off of Saranir, which is excellent piece. And it also dumps the Branded Spell and Trap, which you can dump Retribution along with Branded Fusion with Shrouded Dragon. So if you see this card and Shrouded Dragon, it's basically a Branded Fusion. Moving on to the spells, we have Triple Opening and Triple High Spirits. This is also another reason why I like to play Triple Saranir again, along with the 3 Shrouded, because now Saranir becomes instant value along with this card that you can discard off, whereas Magnum Hut in the main deck does not generate the same amount of value as Saronir. So now Saronir becomes way more valuable, and this access you to all the ways that you can fusion. High Spirit is extremely broken, especially with the best card in the deck is now at 1. 1 loss and 2 red to round out the branded spells, and then the 1 retribution as another form of access to branded fusion, and also come up as a disruption sometime. We play triple deployment. This is your Cartesia number 3, 4, and 5. Also, it could become Albaz going second to break your opponent's boards. Really good card. And then triple Allure of Darkness as the consistency card in this, a way to increase consistency. We play a lot of darts in this deck, so Allure of Darkness generates a lot of value. 1 Cult Buy, 1 Gold Sark, and then 3 copies of Thrust along with Talon. So you play the Call Buy because we hate Ash Blossom still. When there are hands that they Ash Blossom you is GG, and Gold Sark as again another starter, another branded fusion, copy of branded fusion technically, and 3 Thrust, 1 Talon. Be able to break board, also another way to play through Ash, and or access to branded fusion. So more of the story. Branded fusion at 1 does not really do much to the deck. 3 Droplet as my choice of board breaker, and the 1 duplication. This is a total of 50 cards. There are builds out there that run grass at 60. I like those builds, but also a problem with those builds is that you have to play a lot of engine per se to compensate. So I think 50 is perfectly fine depending on how you want your playstyle to be. 2 Branded Dragon, 2 Albion the Branded Dragon for extra deck, 2 Mirror Jade. Nothing has really changed. 1 Sanctifier, this card should have been banned. I don't know why this card doesn't get banned. This card should have been the card to get hit in the ban list instead of a Branded Fusion to 1. 1 Lebellion, 1 Rinbrum, and then the 1 Titaniclad to round out the Branded Fusions. Abas Fusion monsters, pretty straightforward. And then 2 Grand Guignol for the 1 card Branded Fusion Puppet Lock. You need to know these essential combos to be able to play this deck proficiently, especially the 1 card Branded Fusion Lock. And this card also helps to be able to play through boards as well. So Grand Guignol, great card. 1 Guardian Chimera, 1 Dragosapelia, 1 Coriatus as a target for Dust Dragon, the 1 Masquerade, and the 1 Boreal Furious Dragon to round out the extra deck. Pretty straightforward here. Extra deck. Sideboard. Sideboards are more relative to your locals. You should build your sideboard how you want to be built. I prefer 3 Perulia. This card's broken in this format. Going second, you drop it, you get free draws, no issue. 1 Magnum Hut and 1 Druid Swarm to side in for the Bestials. For matchups that Bestials are super strong against, you need to side these in, no question. Triple Lightning Storm for back row decks. 3 Eclipse to be able to dodge Ember as also another piece of board breaker. Either this or Dark Ruler, depending on how you want it to be. I opt to choose to not play Dark Ruler. I like Eclipse instead because Eclipse is also good going first. Being able to play through your opponent's board, book your Aluber to play through Imperm. Eclipse is pretty good in this deck. And then 3 copies of Dogwood. Mostly just for time, especially when you're going second, when you don't have access to your Masquerade. This card is a lifesaver. Phenomenal card. And then the 1 copy of Lenitus to round out the extra deck. This is decided for the Tenpai matchup. where you can fuse other dragons, or when your opponent has a lot of bestials on the field, then that is just a free make. And that is it for the deck profile. Let me know in the comments section down below what's your recommendations for this deck, and let me know what deck profile I should do next, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.